喂，大家好，歡迎翻到嚟今日第4集嘅有香自遠方來。今日個嘉賓係非常之特別，我係需要講英文嘅，所以小弟係有少少緊張。但係唔緊要，我哋等我用廣東話介紹下呢位嘉賓先。其實佢就係我之前有一段 live 提及到其中一個澳洲新嘅小眾品牌嘅一個創辦人啦，都係佢哋自己品牌嘅調香師啦。都係我一個非常之好嘅朋友嚟嘅。佢一陣間會再介紹下自己噶啦。咁我而家用英文再講多次先。如果我聲音冇問題嘅話，大家可唔可以幫我 comment 一下？因為我睇下個聲 O 唔 OK。Now I will speak in English. So today's guest is really special. So he's a friend of mine, and also he's a perfume brand's owner. So he has his own perfume brands in Australia, and he will introduce more later. And his name is Troy. So I would like to welcome him in now. Right. So this is Troy.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to our show, and I'm very happy to have you here today. So can you introduce yourselves for every audience now? So to let them know like who you are and what brand you have yourself.
Yeah, so for those who haven't met me, my name is Troy. I am the perfumer and founder for the brand Grimoire Parfums, which I have just launched recently here in Australia, about 3 weeks ago officially now. It's something that I've been working on over the last 5 years, but I've been working in the luxury retail space and kind of cosmetics, perfume and makeup for almost 10 years now.
Right. So I want to introduce Troy in my own point of view as well, because it's a really interesting meetup for us. Because back when I first came to Australia, I think it's 2 or 3 years ago, I went to City and tried perfumes and stuff. And Troy back then is working in a boutique, like a really luxury brand, luxury perfume boutique there in City, and we met the first time in there, and I was trying everything, and then he's introducing me everything as well. It's a really fun experience, and after that we know more of each other, and then Troy told me he's starting his own brand, and I found it really interesting, and he let me try a few of his perfume before he really launched, and I really enjoy it. It's so good. We'll talk about it more later. But yeah, so let's jump right in for the first easy question today. What is your scent of the day?
Yeah, so I pulled out an old one today.
Right.
Usually I have quite a difficult time choosing what perfume to wear. As you can see, there's so many to choose from. So it's usually just by random choice. Yeah, I am wearing Aromatics Elixir today. So it's an old one from Clinique. I think 1971 it was. And yeah, it smells like everyone's grandma back in the day.
I love this grandma scent.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite styles.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, this is one of the common thing we have as well. We both love those old type of scents, like old ship or aldehydic scent profile as well. Which makes me really enjoy one of your perfume. We will talk about it later. So why do you start collecting or making perfume yourself?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long answer if you have time. So as you know, I've been working in the kind of cosmetics world for a while. So I kind of fell into it naturally. I was a makeup artist, and then I kind of transitioned over into perfume. And, I felt that working in retail perfumery, they only gave out so much information. They just told you what was in it and how to sell it, and that was it, So I always wanted to know more. It kind of came out of curiosity, I guess. I just wanted to keep, they told you there was bergamot. Okay, so for me, what does bergamot mean? What does it actually smell like? How can I find out more information? So yeah, that was kind of the start of it. And then a few years later, during COVID, we're in lockdown in Melbourne. I thought to fill my time, I would start reading and learning a bit more about perfumery. So I was reading books and stuff. And there was one particular book that I really fell in love with. It's the very first book I read, and it's one I recommend to everyone. It's the A to Z Guide by Luca Turin. And he talks about a lot of vintage perfumes. So when we were able to go and go out into the world again, I had a quest to smell all these vintage perfumes that he talked about. And I think that's where I kind of properly fell in love with perfume, because it was such a different style, and there's a lot of artistry, and you can see all the cultural impact that these perfumes had over time. So after being a perfume lover and shopping around for perfume for such a long time, I think it was just a natural progression to become a perfumer as well. Because when you love something, you want to keep learning. So that's what I did. And so for me, one of my objectives was always to have my own brand. And so it kind of came hand in hand together. So it was falling in love, learning, and then now being a business owner.
Right. It's really interesting, as like every one of us has like every time we smell a perfume, we will be inspired, and then we will have a thought of like we should try like making perfume and stuff, and that's what like sparkled my like interest in perfume as well, because like every other perfume is like so different, and then you will be like, oh, how are they going to make those small differences to happen in each of those perfume? And I think like this is quite common for what people are really interested in perfume, and they want to start their own brand right after this idea, because when you smell all those perfume out there, and then you will be so inspired after to like really to have your own thought in like what type of scent you love and what type of scent you really want to like create for yourself to wear as well. So it's really interesting to know how Troy like start his journey and how to start his own brand as well. So would you mind to introduce your own brands to all of us, and also all those perfumes?
Yeah, of course. So the brand is called Grimoire, and Grimoire is a term from Old French, and it pretty much means a book. But it's a particular type of book. It's usually a book of magic, and it pertains to something a bit darker, like witchcraft or demonology. So the whole brand is built around this concept and idea about the book, so from the packaging to the lid as well, and even the stories, because the stories, is to the books. And yeah, so the debut collection is called Ex Fabularum, which means of the stories. So each fragrance represents a different story, or like a dark folklore from around the world. And what I wanted to do with each fragrance is to capture the emotion of the story, but also pay respect and reference all the materials that come out from that region as well. So my very first fragrance is called Nephilim, which I'll open up for you guys here.
I'll share the screen as well. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful. So Nephilim is probably my most personal fragrance. Well, I wouldn't say personal. It's my baby, because it took the longest to make. This fragrance took about 4 years to make. It's gone through over 70 trials, and it is all about rose. And the story of Nephilim it comes from the Bible, and it is pretty much a half-breed between an angel and a human. So what I wanted to convey with the fragrance was this idea of sensuality and taboo and transgression, because two different species aren't meant to behave that way. So it's all about this idea of perversion and lust. And so rose was a very good vehicle because it represents sensuality. But then I added these notes of like these kind of musky, dark, edgy, and animalic qualities to kind of convey that discomfort and give that idea of pheromones, that kind of the eroticism to the perfume. This one is all about rose. So there's 4 different types of roses. So there's 3 types of Bulgarian rose extract and 1 French rose extract as well.
May I ask what is the difference between like those Bulgarian rose?
Yeah, so they're actually different species. So Bulgarian rose is actually also known as Rose damascena. Now, Rose damascena, there's actual species of rose, and it grows in Bulgaria, grows in Turkey, grows in Syria as well. When we say Bulgarian rose, it's usually assumed that it's the Damascena rose. And this one is a lot more spicy and a bit more powdery, whereas French rose, also known as centifolia rose or May rose, is a lot more jammy and sweet. So they both serve a different purpose, but I find the rose Damascena is a lot more kind of provocative nature.
Right. It's really interesting because this one is one of my favorite throughout the range, the 5 perfume as well. I find this one quite a bit vintagey, like a bit of those like old vintage style as well, which I really enjoy. It's one of my like favorite genre, I would say. So this one, I don't find the rose really sweet, but it's more like how do I say it? It's not powdery, but it's more like the leaf with the rose itself.
Yeah,
instead of like
it's more of a lively
stuff.
rose.
Yeah. I will say that as well.
But
yeah, this one is one of my favorite. I really enjoy like spraying this one on after I've tried for the first time. And I bought the Discovery set as well from Troy, and it's like a book I've showed everyone else before. But yeah, this one is one of my favorite.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. This one is actually for me a kind of reference or a nod to the kind of vintage era, just the way it's constructed. It's built up around a classical shape accord, which is like the labdanum, the floral kind of heart, and oak moss is there as well, but I haven't really credited it. But instead, it's a lot of patchouli, which gives it the same kind of earthy tone, and it's a very dark and raw patchouli.
I wouldn't say it's too like it's some heavy scents at all. I think it's right like for daily wear and also like for some like formal occasional wear as well. But the story behind is very interesting as well.
It's a very classical story.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the second one is called Todorats. This one is from the region of the Balkans, and the Balkans is kind of in Eastern Europe. It's if you think like of Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, a bit of Greece and Turkey as well. And the story of this one is it's a creature that is kind of like a half horse and half human, but the human grows out of the horse's back. And during the winter time, they go through the village and they destroy the village. And it's usually before St. Theodore's Day. The only way to stop it is if you feed a cookie in the shape of a horse hoof to the actual horse head. And this one is a very fun one. It's probably my most playful in terms of the accord structures and the most abstract, I'd say. So as a scent profile, it's based off of different Balkan liquors that you'll find over there. So there's 3 kind of main liquors I've played with here. So one is called Pelinkovats, which is kind of like a Artemisia. It's a very herbal bitter liquor. It is missing from the Furka page, the Artemisia note. I'm currently getting fixed, but usually takes a while. The second liquor is called Slivovats, and that is like a plum brandy. So it's very sweet and fruity and boozy. And the other one is also a fruit brandy called Vacha, which is the Queen's brandy. So all of the notes are a nod to the region. The beeswax represents the beeswax candles from the Orthodox Church. And I like to say that the tobacco note is that kind of cigarette smell of Eastern Europe.
I do really enjoy this one. This one, if you like, for the audience, if you really like beeswax or like honey type of notes, I think that this one would be really enjoyable for you. Because the beeswax here, I think you use the real absolute.
Yeah.
So it's actually really realistic, I would say, and also I would say it's like a bit sticky, but it's easy to spray on. It's not something like too cloying or like too sweet, but rather it's really easy to wear on, and also like the tobacco adds some deftness of it as well, which makes it really suitable for like more cooler weather like autumn or like winter.
Yeah, it's a very powerful fragrance, and it's a big kind of profile, and it's a play on different textures. So you're right to say it's very sticky, but at the same time, it's quite sensorial in the sense that it's very dry as well. So there's this contrasting idea of textures, and the dryness comes from like the celery and the hay and all of the other notes as well. And the key note in the fragrance is actually immortelle, though. And immortelle it's not really featured much in kind of modern perfumery. It's used a lot as a kind of supportive note, but to feature it it's really rare to find. And immortelle, it's a very interesting note. It's somewhere between maple and bit of fenugreek. It has like this carried aspect to it as well, and a lot of amber too. And fenugreek grows in the coastal regions of the Balkans. So you'll see it in like Croatia and Bosnia and Montenegro. So all of the notes are a reference to the region.
Do we have a real like immortelle absolute or like any of those like oils of them?
So this one is using immortelle absolute.
Oh, okay. Yeah. By itself, how does it smells like?
Yeah. So yeah, like I described before. So mapley, a bit curried and a bit ambery. Yeah.
I do quite enjoy this one. If like everyone else love those deep or like bee waxy type of vibe fragrances, this one is definitely for you. Let's move on to the next one. Do you want to choose one?
Yeah, sorry. The next one is Nurken, so number 3.
This one is interesting.
I'm waiting for you to click on it.
No, that's all right. No, I'm waiting for you to choose one.
Yeah, sorry. No, we'll just go in order. So number 3. So this is volume 3, Nurken from Scandinavia. So Scandinavia is kind of like Norway, Finland, Sweden, and that kind of those upper kind of colder countries in Europe. And the story of Nurken, it is a water spirit, and it's a shape-shifting kind of spirit, and it can take the form of different things like a horse, a unicorn, or like a boat as well. But usually its most common form is a male with beautiful long hair, and it plays the violin. And what it does is music is so beautiful when he plays it that it draws people into the lake where the Nurken actually drowns them. So this one is very interesting stylistically. It's quite different from the other 4. This one, I like to say that it is based around the artistic style of hyperrealism. So what I really want to do with this one is to make it smell as true to nature as possible. So the image I wanted to capture was walking into the forest, into a lakeside forest on a cold day where you can smell the mist, the soil, the trees, the mushrooms, the algae, all the good and bad parts of the forest. So I really wanted to smell like real life.
This one is really interesting because I think it's a really green perfume, but like normally my taste, I don't like green perfume, like too green perfume. I can't use them. But this one is actually really it's green, but it's really usable to me. I can't like explain why, but this one is like it's a bit of green, but at the same time it's watery, but not that kind of like aquatic notes. I would say like mossy, earthy, green type of vibe to me.
Yeah, so like the overall category, it's very green, but there's a lot of balance between kind of fruity notes and conifer trees. Conifers, think like cedar and pine and cypress and fir, which have very natural fruity characters to them as well.
Yeah.
And then kind of playing on kind of very light floral notes as well.
Right. And I think that the shiso, like the shiso accord in there is quite I would say prominent as well. I really do feel that kind of vibe when you like when you eat like omakase or like eat Japanese food. You have that shiso. It's like it's the same. And it's really interesting because how photorealistic you really put that accord into here. But actually, the seaweed as well. Right.
Yeah. So the shiso is actually natural. So it's not an accord at all. It's a natural shiso oil.
Oh, really? Oh, you use the shiso oil. All right.
So it's a bit more of an obscure ingredient.
Because I've never heard of like anyone using shiso oil at all. Is it
Mm.
like a essential oil or is it like a absolute thing?
But it's an essential oil.
Oh, right. And the seaweed as well, like it's really interesting because I've went to Troy's like perfume launch event, and when they put the like perfume out, there's some like um aroma chemical listed on there, or like the original absolute or essential oil put there as well. So we can actually try each of them, like the ingredient being used in this perfume, and one of them is like this seaweed, or like the red seaweed CO2 extract.
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on that one? Because that one is really interesting. It's really salty when I smell it, but in here it kind of changed the sense of it.
Mm. Yeah, this one it's very you have to be very careful when you're working with seaweed because it can overtake a fragrance very easily. Because
Mm.
we were at the event, right? Like it's not really a nice smell by itself. Like it's very pungent. And so the way I used it was just to add a bit of detail, and it gives it that kind of darkness. And I think in perfumery, it's always important to have contrast. So it acts like as that darkness to the lightness of the perfume. And it works as a great, I call it a naturalizer. So it makes the perfume smell more like real life.
Mm.
And the CO2 is, it's a very unique type of distillation where it's, I won't get too technical, but it's like a supercritical extraction where they distill the oil in a way where all of the volatile components are captured as well as the kind of heavier components. So CO2 extracts usually smell quite photorealistic, whereas
Mm.
sometimes essential oils and absolutes smell different to how they smell in real life.
Right. It's really realistic, I would say, when I smell that. But yeah, this one is really interesting because it's one of those green perfume. I really enjoy wearing it. If anyone have the chance, try it, or like buy the discovery set from Troy as well. If anyone is from Hong Kong, I will bring the discovery set back. So don't worry, I will let you guys try. Yeah, let's move on to another one.
Yeah, so we'll go to Penningal number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one is from the region of Southeast Asia. And the name Penningal is actually Malaysian, but the story actually appears across all of Southeast Asia. So Laos has a version, so there's Thailand, Vietnam, where I'm from as well, is it's called Malai. And you have it in Indonesia and Philippines as well. But I thought Penningal looked nice.
It's more
So
cool.
yes. So the story of Penningal, it is a female vampire and appears a lot through kind of Southeast Asian pop culture as well. It's quite a well-known figure. So it's a beautiful woman during the daytime, but at nighttime, her head kind of actually pops off her body and she flies around. But it's not just her head. You can see all of the organs, so like her lungs and her intestines are all floating around. So it's quite a bloody scene. And what the Penningal would do, they would go underneath houses that were built on stilts, and they would target women who were giving childbirth and try to drink their blood. And if she did drink their blood, that means both the mother and the child would be afflicted with the disease. Now, this one I actually created around a Filipino superstition and kind of story as well. So it's kind of two stories in one. So in Filipino culture, they say that if you smell jasmine or ylang at night, it actually means it's a bad omen, and it means that there's usually a ghost or a spirit of a woman nearby. So I kind of combine those two ideas and put them together. And so the fragrance is actually all about jasmine and ylang. And in the fragrance book or in the packaging, I've listed the fragrance or note of jasmine as sampagita, which is Tagalog for jasmine.
Right.
And then all of the notes are just like a tribute to Southeast Asia. So it's a lot of different tropical fruits and citruses. So you've got like mandarin, calamansi, papaya, and pomelo. And then the heart is all about the ylang. And the amount of ylang I've used is actually the very legal maximum according to IFRA, which we can talk a bit more about IFRA later because it's a very interesting topic. Then lots of tropical flowers. And so what I wanted to do with this fragrance was just make it smell like Southeast Asia during the summertime at its very peak.
This one is a really easy to wear fragrance to me because it's very fresh. It's floral. I love floral, and also like the base is not something really like heavy or like dense type of base. And the amount of ylang ylang here is really obvious. Like it's right there when you spray. It's right there when it's dried down as well. So it's a really nice ylang ylang type of fragrance, but with a really fresh start to me. Easy daily wear, summertime wear for me. And the background story is really interesting as well because I think that I think I've heard that like story back in Hong Kong as well. Like when I'm small. Yeah. So it's really interesting one and really linked to me because like when I first heard that story from Troy, I was like, oh, I actually have heard that story. So really interesting perfume and easy to wear. I think it's the most easy to wear out of the 5, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the freshest. The other 4 are quite dark and they're all very complex and stylistic, but this one is probably the most approachable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if any of you guys love like freshies or like floral type of fragrance, you must try this one. This one is really good. I personally really love it as well. I love this one and the first one the most, like the Nephilim the most.
Yeah.
So have a go, everyone. Let's move on to the last one.
The very last one. So this last one. So originally, actually, I only intended on doing 4 fragrances. So this one I did on a bit of a whim.
Yeah.
And I think that's the artist in me, because in art we always say like never do an even number. Odd numbers always just look more appealing for whatever reason, the way the brain works. So I had to close the collection with 5th fragrance, and I think it works geographically as well. It kind of like, it's a bit very different from the other 5.
Yeah.
So this one is called Kotoblepas. It is from the region of East Africa, or Ethiopia, which is like the ancient region for modern day Sudan, Egypt, and Ethiopia and Somalia as well. So the story of this one, the Kotoblepas is an animal or creature, actually. Well, they actually call it a beast in old texts. And it's similar to like a Cape buffalo and a wildebeest. And it's said that if you look into its eyes, you turn to stone and die. And that it has a breath so disgusting that you don't want to smell it. But the name Kotoblepas actually comes from ancient Greek, and it means to look downward. And that's because the head of the beast was actually always so heavy that it had to look down. So there's a kind of a message there. So if you actually do get turned to stone, it's because you went out looking for, looking at it where you're not meant to. So the idea of this fragrance, or the concept, was to, it's the most kind of strange and mysterious one. And I like to say it's the enigma, because you can't quite place it stylistically. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to create this idea of, looking away, smelling away, and just, averting your attention from the visual cues that we're given all the time when we look at perfumery. Like, I love Fragrantica. We're on it right now. But I think there's something really interesting and beautiful that happens when you just experience a perfume for what it is without being told what it is,
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, so the notes of these ones, again, it is a tribute to the region. So it's all about these East African spices, and all of the resins are from the area as well. So we have cardamom, we have fenugreek from Egypt, we have turmeric as well. The rose is Bulgarian as well, because I think it gives a nice sensuality and this kind of strange floral note that you wouldn't expect. It really contrasts and sparkles in the middle if you look for it. The coffee note is a nod to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is actually the birthplace of coffee. And then we have the myrrh, which is from Somalia, and the opopanax from Ethiopia as well. And the fragrance itself, there is actually a big dose of myrrh. And myrrh, when you use a little bit, it adds this really nice, beautiful texture and warmth to a fragrance. But in the amount I've used in this fragrance, it actually becomes quite metallic and almost like a blood-like kind of note to it, which just kind of cuts through all the spices and all of the other notes and gives it a really strange kind of obscure edge to it.
Yeah, so this perfume is, I think it's the most suitable for winter out of all, I would say. It's, to me, it's really resinous, I would say. It's not
100%.
quite too metallic, I would say. It's easy to wear overall, like not too extreme to like too metallic or like too heavy, hard to wear type of fragrance. But this one is one of my like favorite in colder weather, because like the myrrh and also the amber smokiness in there is really because I got really hot skin, like everything just pops out right away. I like the like complexity like around like all those accords as well. And I think this one is I like that the thing I like the most is the cardamom at the start, which makes that kind of like slightly sweetness and spiciness. I really enjoy cardamom. But overall, I think this one is quite if you're in Hong Kong, I think it's quite hard to wear. Because like the humid and like hot weather, even in winter, it's crazy. So but like I think a lot of like perfume enthusiasts in Hong Kong love these kind of scents. So really try it before you like just look at the note and just like abandon it like right away. Yeah, this one is really interesting as well. The story is like the African based story. I love it. And also like I would say like all the accord or like notes you use is relating to those story as well, which I really love that part of it as well. So yeah, so everyone please go try all 5 of the perfume from Troy. I will really like bring this one back and everyone comes to me, try them. Really interesting brand, and all those perfumes are fantastic. But yeah, is there any like which one is your favorite? It's hard, I know, because like every of them is your like your baby, your like
It's like
creation.
saying,
I know it's hard.
who's your favorite child?
Yeah.
I'd say it's between Penning. I'd say my most worn is Penningal. It probably aligns with me most stylistically on what I wear on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
But I would say Nephilim is probably my personal favorite.
Right.
Yeah, just because it, I feel like that represents me very well. Represents my love for vintage perfume, and yeah, just from a very technical element as well. I think, I put a lot of work into that one. I mean, I put a lot of work into all of them, but that one's a bit more special.
Yeah, and I think that is more like sentimental, like value for you as well. Like,
Yes.
You love those kind of like vintagey, and you really like work with it for a very long time. So this one definitely is a fair enough choice for you to choose as your favorite. I would say my favorite is it's actually hard because like I really enjoy Nephilim, Pinangel, and also Noken. I think the most unique will be this one, but if I really have to choose one to like go through every day, I would choose Pinangel because it's the most easy to use. More suitable for me in Hong Kong as well. The fresh type of scents, floral, and something I really enjoy, ylang ylang as well. So yeah, my favorite is this one. But yeah, before we move on to the next part, do you want to break or do you want to jump right in?
No, we can keep going.
Okay, let's keep going then. So the next question is, do any of the other perfumes, like look at your background, there's a lot of perfumes. Do any of them like influence your creation? And if they influence your creation, would they be considered like creative anymore?
Good question. Yes and no. So for me as a perfume lover, I think it really helped my journey to becoming a perfumer. And I do have a lot of perfumes, as you can see, and I think they're very all important pieces because they tell me something different. They teach me something different as a perfumer. Because I smell something, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and I like how they did that. And I smell another one, and like, oh, so that's how they built that accord. So you can learn a lot, and I always equate it to, you know, like studying art. When you study art or study paintings, you always go through these historical works and significant works, and you understand the technique and the time and the kind of, I guess, passion that it took to create something. So for me, I would say I use a lot of references, but I've never gone to like a fragrance and said, you know what, I want to make a fragrance that smells like this or similar to that. So take Nephilim, for example. I knew I wanted to work with rose. So, okay, now this is where my kind of references come in, like what works well with rose. So I know rose works well with patchouli, like in the examples like Portrait of a Lady, for example. I know Angelica works well with rose in the example of Blouse from Saint Laurent. So, you know, it's all about using these references and using things that have come before us already. You know, I say on my website, you know, I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I'm just here to, you know, create perfume that smells good. It's tried and true, but it's still my own identity. So I'm an artist through and through. So I was originally a dancer, turned into a makeup artist, now a perfumer. So for me, having this sense of individuality and creativity has always been important. So if I do something, it's always going to be my own personal way, you know?
Yeah, I do really agree. Like, every like type of this art have to be inspired by something. Like, it should be start with something. Otherwise, you won't be like, oh, I got that inspiration. Oh, I got that sparkle to like lead to the start of like even artwork, perfume, everything like creative wise.
Yeah.
I think that is really it's a really good thing to like have a look at all the other stuff as well, because like it really like like as what like talked about at the start of the live stream. I've talked about like something really sparkle your mind to really start like getting into perfume or like getting into making perfume as well. So I do really agree. But like sometimes if you really copy one thing to another, I think it is not really necessary. Sometimes it does, like maybe some people will want more of like performance or like want more of like longevity. But I'm not that kind of like people who really chase for those stuff. So I don't think it's not too necessary. But like if people love those, I think they will like care for those like clones as well. But we will talk more about it later.
Yeah.
Like we got a question just for those as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything you would like to add like on those?
Yeah. Oh, well, you're kind of right in the way. I'm kind of the same as you. When I wear a perfume, I actually don't care how long it lasts,
Yeah.
how strong it is. I'm wearing it for myself. If I'm the only person smelling it, that's absolutely okay with me. And on a day-to-day basis, I actually probably wear eau de colognes the most. So very light and fleeting perfumes. So very different from my work. But yeah, the whole idea of, you know, copying perfumes, it has never been on my radar because, you know, for me, it's all about, because, you know, I'm representing myself. So I want it to, you know, be a piece of me in a way, you know?
I mean, like, it's your own idea of stuff as well. You want to really express. So
Yeah.
it's like no point of like putting too much of other stuff into your own creation as well. But yeah, another thing to ask is that what is the biggest change in thoughts you have noticed yourself after really being into a perfumer or like just purely into as a enthusiast?
Yeah. So, as you know, my journey started as a perfume lover becoming a perfumer. So I think my mindset and perspective really changed when I got into perfumery, like actually learning how to create perfumes. Because, you know, the first thing you kind of encounter is the price of everything, you know, when you start buying things. So immediately right off the bat, you understand how expensive something is, how inexpensive certain things are. So that really changed my perspective on perfumery. And it's probably more so a commentary on modern and commercial perfumery, where it, you know, I'm not going to put any brands on blast, but, you know, it's not as glamorous as it always seems. I think once you kind of learn the backside of it, that it's these perfumes that are saying like a lot of like expensive materials and exotic and, you know, precious materials. Yeah, they're all kind of saying the same thing. Like if everyone is using exotic and precious materials, and it's not really exotic or precious, right? I mean, if I can buy it and you can buy it, so it's a strange place in perfumery we're in, where the storytelling and the romanticism is taking over the artistry of perfume. So that's one thing. So yeah, it really changed my perspective. And then in the other way, it made me have a greater appreciation for vintage perfumes, because you can see the amount of materials, the quality and the creativity and the uniqueness of each perfume as well. So yeah, it kind of strengthened my love for vintage perfume even further, and kind of made me fall out of love for kind of modern commercial perfumery.
I do agree. Like, even like as a enthusiast, when you really get into those like deeper relationship between like brands and also like materials and stuff, I think that is a like a common pathway for every of us to really like get through, like when we really like delve into all those topics of like materials and stuff, um and like how they make perfumes, like how big companies hire other like um, perfume companies, perfumer to do their perfume, instead of like really letting a perfumer to have their own creation to like do their own job. I think like it's a really big thing as well. Like when you really started making perfume instead of like just enjoying perfume, like the whole perspective really like swap, because like how how difficult you how do I say, how difficult you become to have your creativity if you are working in like some bigger company instead of like just making your own brand.
Yeah,
Because like
correct.
what I heard,
Yeah, sorry. So because there's a lot of like creative brief, there's the budget restriction as well, and you know, what happens a lot of the times is like the thing with perfumery at the moment is like it's a bigger monopoly or corporation than ever. So there's a lot of investors involved. So a lot of brands and perfumers as well, they have to play it very safe, because they want to make money. They need to make money. They need to make the return on investment. So yeah, money and kind of sales is pushed to the forefront, and artistry has kind of been left behind. And the other kind of thing I think, which is a bit disappointing, is that a lot of some of these brands are not even crediting their perfumers anymore either. So you know, we're losing a bit of the artistry in the industry at the moment.
Yeah, I think that like another common thing is like some, even some like bigger perfumer, they have their own brand, but like their creation is not that kind of like their own creativity anymore. It's more like how they can achieve like more profits or like more earnings throughout the markets. Like it's hard for them. I know, like I understand it's hard for them to like really have their own brands and like make money. But at the same time, it's also like it's a sad truth that everyone is doing the same thing to get money back from their like own brands and stuff. And I think it's a common trend for every like enthusiast to get into more like niche or like artisanal brand as well, because like those brands are more creative, because like they can preserve more of their creativity, and it's just their own spending, like their own money, to like how much they want to put into create one of their perfume as well. So I think there is a common trend of like every perfume lover to like really get into those brands. So that's why I really want to introduce your brand to all of my friends as well. Like everyone will love that kind of like creation.
Thank you.
But yeah, so before we move on, oh no, sorry, we'll just move on to the next question. It's like I would like us to like uh have a discussion on like ingredients, aromachemical regulations, or like maybe talk about IFRA as well, like you have mentioned just now about the IFRA regulation as well.
Yeah, so I'll start with IFRA. This is quite a topic that I like to talk about because it's a very important thing as a perfumer and a business owner as well. So it's kind of two things working together. So IFRA, for those who don't know, it stands for the International Fragrance Association. And they're centralized in Europe. And the purpose of IFRA is it's a self kind of regulating body for perfume because it's not really restricted by government, which is a good thing because government laws are usually a lot harsher than they need to be because it's all about liability. Better to be safe than sorry. So usually what the government does is they'll just ban things outright instead of restricting it to certain amounts because, it's more about politics and not really about the artistry or the safety. So the interesting about IFRA is it's not required by law and it's only imposed in Europe or the European Union rather. But in a way, if you are in those countries, then you have to be compliant because it affects your insurance. If you want to sell to shops, then you need to be compliant. So then, you kind of put in this trap that you have to be compliant. Now, for countries outside of the EU, especially, let's talk about Australia, for example. So Australia, there's actually next to no rules for perfumery. So it's a good and bad thing. That means there's a lot of space for creativity, but also it means that for those who are not aware of IFRA, there's actually a lot of dangers. And for perfumers who aren't necessarily aligned or educated or kind of had a look at IFRA, it could be quite dangerous as well because there's a lot of chemicals and materials that we shouldn't be putting on our skin. Some are safe at certain levels, and that's why IFRA exists. So it's a very interesting topic. My brand, I chose to be IFRA compliant because I always knew that one day, I'm only 3 weeks in, but I always knew that I would want to ship overseas one day, and especially into Europe. I would love to sell to Europe. So hoping I can do that within the next year or so.
I believe you can.
Yeah. I received a lot of questions about IFRA actually. One of the questions was actually asking, am I not compliant? Because there's this kind of misconception or idea that if you're not compliant, then that means your brand is automatically more creative or, you're breaking boundaries and you're being an art rebel, But actually, after learning about IFRA, reading the documentations, reading the toxicology data, I actually learned how important it is to know the safety limits because, these are all things we're putting on our body. So it's good to be aware. And actually, it's actually not as restricting as everyone thinks it is. I felt like I haven't had to compromise on any of my blends. And as you can tell, like I think they're still very creative and stylistic. And they're all working within IFRA limitations.
Yeah, so I think like most people will think about like when you talk about IFRA and stuff, they will be like, oh, they're changing some of the older formulation of the perfume, and like they really started like doing bad things to like the industry. But I think it's actually a really good way to let people know like what to put in, what to not put in, because like it's not a strict law like banning those stuff to be put into those. And I think like most of the people will think it's a law, but it's actually not. That's why there's also some other like smaller artisanal brands who are not IFRA compliant.
Correct.
And I like, to my point of view, I don't think there's a huge like differences um on the like creativity wise of thing
Mm.
for perfume. Like I've tried a few more different brands that is not IFRA compliant. I think I've let you try one of the gins before, the
Yeah.
gins perfume, which is the blue ship, and you said there's like real Okmos in there.
Yeah.
Um, I know nothing about those, but I don't think that like as a like normal enthusiast who are not too delved into those like um aromachemical or like raw material, I think there's not a huge difference when I smell those perfume. Of
Mm.
course, like there's a minimal difference when you do it like side by side, like from what it
Yeah.
should be compliant and not compliant. But I don't think there's not much huge difference on those as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with IFRA, so I'll go into a bit more detail about it.
Mm,
So um, I really respect perfumers who choose to be non-compliant but still do their research,
mm,
because IFRA in itself, as even though it's not as restricting as government policy, it's still taking a safety route. So usually when it says like something is restricted to 0.1%, that's them being very safe. So kind of like engineering, like they say you can only put this certain amount of weight, but actually it can probably hold 5 times very safely. But
mm,
just for liability, they're just going to put 20% of the amount. So same with IFRA. So for perfumers who are non-compliant, I really respect that they still look at IFRA stats, but then still work within reasonable amount. Like they're just going a bit over, maybe not 10 times over. And
mm,
then the thing with IFRA as well, there's a bit of a conflict of interest. This is where the kind of I guess the hate comes from,
mm,
because IFRA is funded by all of these big perfume companies like
right.
Firmenich and Givaudan and all these
Mm,
manufacturers that produce aroma chemicals. So, when they imposed a restriction on oak moss, it seemed very convenient that there was suddenly a synthetic compound available straight
yeah.
away. But that's just a rumor. Like we'll never know what the truth is. So yeah, you can see both sides of the coin.
Mm,
One of the questions I've been asked is, okay, what happens when a material gets banned or gets restricted or any of that? I think that as much as it hurts a lot of these archive and historical perfumes, it also leaves room for a lot of innovation. So when you have no choice, then that's when you start inventing something new molecules, new bases, new accords. And, it kind of pushes you to expand the horizons.
mm, mm. Um, but do you think like this kind of like restriction would affect like will affect all like when they affect all those like old formulation or like vintage perfume, would you think that is a good thing to have that like market shift of like moving on to a newer formulation, or do you think it's like a bad thing, like oh they are losing their like original smell like sense overall?
Bit of both, actually. As a vintage lover, I'm very sad to
Yeah.
see things go. But,
Mm,
a lot of the technology and the testing that was present now was not present back then. So,
mm,
again, it all comes down to safety, a bit of politics, unfortunately.
mm.
But, you know, it's just the way of life. You got to keep moving.
That's true. That's true. Um, I think like one common thing of people with this kind of regulation is that people will think it's not like really related to this kind of like regulation or like restriction, but people will think like all natural perfume is more safe than like having using all these like aroma chemical. I think it's a really common thing to like
Yeah.
many people who are not really into these kind of like chemical stuff to think that way.
Yeah. It's a really strange misconception.
Yeah,
Your natural perfume or natural
mm,
materials rather are probably the most toxic, and
exactly.
nearly every natural material is restricted because they contain a lot of allergens. So your most common are like citronellol, geraniol, linalool, all of that you always see on the back of a box. So that all comes from naturals. But synthetics can be dangerous as well. There have been bans on synthetic materials. Your nitro musks, musk ketones, musk ambrette, musk xylene, they've been either banned or restricted already. So there's kind of both. Again, as a perfumer, I think you should be aware of these things. And, it's not really up to the public to know these things. It's more of the job of the perfumer.
I agree. And as I get more into these kind of like chemical stuff, it's really I would say like it's really interesting, but like at the same time it's very complex for you to like really know which one of those chemical you can really use, which one of those chemical you need to like stay a little bit, like limit yourself a little bit on using them. It's an interesting topic, to be honest. But we can't really like expand a lot on those because it will get really like technical.
I could talk all day, hours on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I love like talking these topic with Troy as well. Like he's the one who really like, I would say he teach me a lot of those like kind of things. I really love it. We'll keep on discussing those more in the future as well. So before we get into the second half, let's have a 3 minutes break and then we'll come back again to talk about the rest of the questions. All right. See you guys.
All right. See you soon.
All right, welcome back to the second half of the live stream. So, I will briefly introduce today's guest again. Is a perfumer, and he got his own brand called the Grimoire Parfums. Um, and let's introduce Troy again to the stage. Hi. Let's get back to some of the questions. So, one of the question I want to talk about is, or like a topic I want to talk about is that some common myths or like some common topics like that perfume users or like perfume enthusiasts don't know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of myths actually, and it's kind of things you just learn naturally when you start um, as a perfumer or when you start creating things. So I think one interesting topic is the topic of musks, because working in perfumery and as a salesperson, I often hear people say that they hate musks, want to wear anything musky and all of that. But the interesting thing is that musk is probably present in every single perfume, and it usually represents 10 to 20% of the formula.
Yeah.
It's just oftentimes it's not credited, and there's different levels of musk. Some are a bit more fleeting and transparent, and some are more visible or noticeable than others. Yeah, it's a really interesting kind of topic. So musks, you have to use it. It's the best way to fixate a perfume, meaning to make it kind of last longer. It helps to clean up a fragrance and kind of flatten it so that it's not so sharp and it's a lot smoother. And usually it's not just one musk molecule. Usually you'll use multiple different musk molecules because the human nose is actually usually, in most cases, anosmic to different musks, meaning you can't naturally smell it. So as a perfumer, you have to put in a few different molecules so that the audience or the person who's smelling it can actually identify a musk. So yeah, that's a very interesting thing, I think.
And I think like musk is present in many like washing detergent as well. Like when you wash your clothes, they put a lot of musk in there just to make that like clean type of feeling in there. And I think like everyone didn't really think of one thing is that like perfumer actually makes those like soap and also like what washing detergent scents as well.
Yeah.
So those are actually the same thing when to put into the perfume as well.
Yeah, it's all perfumery.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Like when I talk about like making perfume and stuff with some of my friends or like even families, they wouldn't like everyone will ask like what's perfumer's job? Like they would think of like only making perfumes and stuff, but like most of the time I will also tell them like it's their job to like making those scents in like washing products and also like body wash, shampoo as well. All those are like from perfumer, and that's what most of the like perfumers do as well.
Correct.
Instead of like making their own perfume, it's hard to get into like really making perfume, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, even the other creating body products, shampoo, soaps, and all of that, they all have their own IFRA restriction and category as well. So it's really interesting.
I actually didn't know about this.
Yeah. So each category, so shampoos, lip balm, so it's classed into different categories, and they all have their own unique restrictions. Yeah. And you have to formulate products differently because then you're working with like different, not every material is soluble in water, for example. Some things are actually not good for the environment. So when you're looking at detergents, you want to use things that are more biodegradable and they don't accumulate in waterways. So yeah, there's things to think about that are different to perfume as well.
That's actually makes more sense now because like you have to put more like easy biodegradable stuff in there. What about like those candles? Do candles have regulations?
I am actually not sure of that. I do know if candles are different as well in formulation because you have to work with flash points, so things burn at different kind of temperatures, before they kind of go off. So yeah, different kind of faction of perfume as well. I'm actually not sure if they have restrictions. I'm sure there is some kind of environmental concern when it comes to like parabens and sulfates in candles. But yeah, not my field of expertise.
But is the like aroma chemical being put in the candles quite similar to scents, or like is it like depends on the like burning points of it as well?
Yeah, depending on the flash points.
Right.
But yeah, some of the materials used in perfumery you'll use in candles as well.
Oh, right, right. Okay. No, that's really interesting because I want to know as well. Because I like know nothing about candles. I'm just like pure scent perfume dude who smell every stuff in the department store. But yeah. What about like any other common myths you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I found challenging in a way, it's just something that I've learned along the way in perfumery as well, that not everything works linearly in perfume
Mm,
formulation. So, for example, you can't just keep adding more rose to make it smell more like a rose fragrance. Like it just doesn't work that way. You have
mm,
to add. You have to start thinking about it in a more three-dimensional effect. So, if you want it to smell more like rose in the opening, then you need to use more high impact molecules, like rose oxide, for example, to push it into the opening.
mm,
You have to use supporting notes that actually um, work to push middle notes into the opening, like aldehydes. They're really useful for pushing florals into the opening. And
mm,
then, it's the same for like base notes as well. Like if you want to smell something in the base notes, you can't just add more rose because rose only lasts so long on a set
mm.
strip. So if you want it to smell more like a base note, and then you need to use those compounds that are a bit heavier, like your rose crystals. So yeah, that's another interesting thing that you know, especially when that's the annoying thing when you're kind of formulating. Like you think just adding something will make it work. There's a lot of trial and error, so
Mm.
you never know what happens until you blend everything together.
I think that's the beauty of like perfumery as well. You can't really like have one like linear pathway and go
Right.
right through it, but you have to like really try everything to like how to make something you really want.
Yeah,
Um,
and
it's
yeah, sorry. So
you know yeah.
as much as there's theory and practice, um, yeah, it's just one of those things that until you put it all together, you won't know what it smells like, as experienced as you are.
Yeah, that's true, and I love that like surprising part of it because like every drop you put into it is like it makes it way different.
Correct.
Um, but yeah, I would want to ask like personally, because I don't know about this, because like when you spray perfume, some of the perfume doesn't last, right? Some
Yeah.
people would say like if you spray more, then it will last longer. But I guess I don't think it's true. What do you think about that question?
Yes and no. The thing is, if you spray more, then you slow down the evaporation because
Mm,
there's kind of like you've created a layer of oil where there's it creates a separation of body heat. So
mm,
in theory, yes, but not necessarily. The only way to make perfume last longer is to slow down the evaporation. So um, whether that's using base notes or fixatives like musks to prolong the evaporation.
mm.
A lot of perfumers actually use DPG, which is a solvent called
Yeah.
dipropylene glycol. And a great example is actually Baccarat Rouge. So
Mm,
DPG, traditionally, they actually just use it to dissolve crystal materials, but now it actually has a very functional aspect because it makes a perfume blend very thick. And
mm.
when something is thick, it slows down a lot more. And that's why a formula like Baccarat Rouge just lasts so long because the amount of DPG in it, I think there's almost like 20% maybe.
Yeah. So it's just for the audience because I know what DPG is. Um, is it kind of like an oil, like to make it higher oil concentration? That's why it lasts, or is it because of the property?
A bit of both. I can't tell you what a brand's intention is, if they're cheating it just so they can call it an extrait or a parfum, or they're actually using it intentionally to slow down evaporation.
Mm,
If they're using it to slow down evaporation, I think that's very smart. It's a very skillful thing to do. But there's a bit of cheating going on too.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I heard from Troy as well. Troy told me all about these before. And I think that it's a common thing nowadays. Like people want like longer like longevity. That's why I want to ask this question as well, just to let people know like a
Yeah.
bit more about this topic.
Yeah, I do want to touch on that as well. Sorry. So
Yeah,
there's only so much you can do to make a perfume last longer, and then you can't just keep adding more musk or more DPG because you get to a certain point where it stops smelling like the original idea.
yeah,
So for me, I rather a perfume just be true to the intention, last however long it lasts, and that's okay for me.
I'm
It's
the
kind of
same.
like, yeah, it's just kind of like flowers. The flowers that only bloom for 1 week and that's it.
It's meant to last.
Yeah, just be there in the moment and enjoy it.
Exactly. I totally agree. I just I don't want to say hate, but like I just don't get why people purely want performance and stuff. You don't want that perfume on the coats for like a week, bro. Like it just doesn't have that point. We wear every like you wear different perfume every day anyway, so it doesn't have to last for like weeks and months.
Correct.
But I know that like many newer molecule, like newer chemicals nowadays are trying to achieve that as well. I think like one type of molecule we talk about is like the super amber.
Yeah.
But like it's just like turns all the perfume, like all the scents into the same dry down. It just doesn't get any different anymore. So
Yeah, and you can kind of perceive it now that you've come across a lot of examples like it. Yeah, I think it's just I won't say it's a problem, but it's just the trend of the market right now where everyone wants something high packed and high longevity. And, there's that misconception that, if something lasts longer, that means it's better quality, but
yeah,
it's actually not true at all. Like the best Rose Absolute in the world will only last a few hours, and that's just the nature of it.
yeah, that's true. And also like some people will be like, I want some fresh perfume which lasts long. Like those molecules doesn't meant to be like last for days or like for weeks. They just last for like I think like 2 or 3 hours and it's gone. Like it will become like so soft on skin. But that's just how people nowadays prefer. But that's why like those monster come out like those like Otto Parisi stuff or like those strong like Oud Maracuja stuff like coming out all the way beast mode. I do think like 1 or 2 is fine. I don't mind them, but like I don't want them like to be everywhere because like that's just like kind of like reduce the creativity that can be made for those like base note. So yeah, I think that's one thing we want to talk about as well. For like, I want to like let everyone knows about this as well. Any other myths?
Well, I guess I kind of touched on it as well. There was one other myth I was going to talk about was that a lot of perfume materials that go into a perfume or your compounds are actually just used for function. So even though single thing has a smell, it's actually not used for the smell of the perfume. It's used to make it more diffusive, to make it last longer, to help lift other notes. So again, very interesting. And that's kind of the more technical side of perfumery as well, the deeper you get into it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's why it makes me like it caused the interest in me as well to like get into like learning all those like chemicals and stuff. And it's really interesting for like people to know more about them as well because like whenever you come by something similar or like you smell something similar, you will like really like know, oh, that's the stuff they use in there. But yeah, like it's an interesting thing, but like at the same time it's really complex as well.
Yeah. No,
It's really technical.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Like, even before I go into perfumery, when I smell something, like I can pick out the notes and, it feels very validating to understand what's going on in the perfume.
Right, yeah. But yeah, let's move on to the next question. Not a question, but like a topic we want to talk about is the marketing of like perfume and also like talk about like trends in the perfume industry as well. Because like now you have your own brand and you will know more about like how to market your brand, how to get your brand into those kind of trend to make it more easy to audience wise, or audience to love the brand as well.
Yeah, well, it's a very tricky situation for me now that I've launched my own brand.
Mm,
Um, there's kind of two parts to this question. There's
yeah,
what's happening in the market right now, especially in Australia.
yeah,
So the perfume market, we've touched this on this topic a few times now tonight. It's all about high impact, high longevity, um, strong fragrances that last forever. So it's a really strange place that perfumery is in at the moment. Now, for myself, perfume is a really difficult thing to convey digitally because it's such a tangible product.
yeah,
It's the only thing that you can't try. Like you can look at art, you can hear music, but you can't try
yeah,
perfume over
yeah.
over a video. So a lot of
That's
it,
true.
as a brand, when I created the brand, I had to think about how do I tell the story, how do I convey the emotion, and it relies a lot on the visual as well, and it relies on me being kind of integrated into it. And as much as I'm advertising for the brand, I'm also advertising myself because I need to be involved. And I think people appreciate the authenticity and the kind of genuine element that they see that they see the perfume behind the craft. Like it's kind of like music. You appreciate when someone has written their own song instead of singing someone else's
Mm,
song.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a very kind of tough thing. I mean, I'm only 3 weeks in. So far, a lot of my attention has been through social media, and just from people reviewing it. It's been such a good experience because everyone has been enjoying it,
Yeah.
and so I really rely on yourself and people who fall in love to talk about it and to share the word and spread the news.
But I think it's a really common thing for different brands to do nowadays as well, because like social media is such a big thing. Like for everyone to everyone just like scroll the phone anywhere or before sleep, or like on the bus, everywhere, like literally everywhere they will scroll their phone. So I think it's a really good like media, or a place for people to like get into knowing some new things like every other like times. um and I think it's a really good things to really have someone to market those perfume for other brands.
Yeah,
um and sometimes like I would think like for some brands they ship out like free products, right? But sometimes the product is not too good. And they have to like people, those like those influencers will have to like talk about those products even if they are not too good. That's the only part I really like want to like justify. Like sometimes it's not too good, I would say. But I think overall it's a good thing that it's a good opportunity for people to know more perfume brands and also like perfume products as well. Because like nowadays like so many new brands pops up every year, and also like so many new perfumes. Like I think there's like almost 1,000 creation every year now.
yeah.
So it's a good thing that everyone has started to use like social media to like market as well.
Yeah, so it's one of the kind of tricky things I have to navigate as well.
Mm,
Eventually I will have to, um, get my product out there, and whether that's, I do want to get into stores
mm,
as soon as possible, but I know there's a lot of tricky things to navigate as well. I am working on getting my products shipped overseas as well, which is a very
mm.
tricky situation for perfumery because it's considered a dangerous good. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of kind of legal kind of work that needs to be done there before I can do that. But hopefully I can ship direct to customers within the next 6 months. So Hong Kong, I'm coming out there soon.
I think it's really tricky for Australia to do that. Like
Yeah,
the regulation for Australia is the most strict, I think.
yeah.
Like for
Or
border
even
wise and also the
yeah,
tax.
yeah. Even every country is strict to ship overseas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and because each country has their own different rules. So yeah,
Mm.
it's a challenging situation.
Because like
Mm,
from what I see in, I think it's only Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, it's quite not that strict on like perfume and stuff, but still
yeah,
they got like
true.
regulation and stuff. But like I think Taiwan, I think like all the other um area is more strict. I mean, Hong
Correct.
Kong can't ship to like Taiwan or like Australia as well, but like consider like Hong Kong, they can ship into mainland, I think.
Mm. Yeah, so one of my or some of my few kind of destinations I want to reach first would be New Zealand.
Mm,
Singapore and Hong Kong, I think legally is a bit easier, so
yeah.
they will be on my radar as well. So check that space, and then yeah. So in my short term kind of goals or ambition is to have a few stockers here and there or across Australia at least, so people can come try it. I'm also working on developing a 10 mil as well, just because sometimes 50 mil is a lot and you want
Yeah.
something in between.
Mm,
So I think a travel size is always handy. And yeah, the whole idea of kind of social media and influencing, I have to navigate that as well because I want to make sure that I'm partnering with people who share my same intention and drive and vision, and that
that's
they
true.
represent the brand to
Yeah.
the very best that I would love it to be represented to.
Yeah. And not those like they're kind of like I don't know. I just that's the thing I really noticed recently because like I tried a perfume called the Prada Paradigm, the
Mm,
green one.
the green one,
That
yeah.
one is like I don't know, it could be the worst one I've ever tried this year. It's I just don't love it. But I mean like someone will love it, but I don't think like because when they ship to every influencer, they're like, oh, it's such a good perfume, and it's a good release in 2025 for like mass appealing. I don't think everyone thinks of that, but they just have to do that. Like
Yeah,
I know they do it for their living, but I just don't like that kind of trend.
yeah,
But yeah, that's a main thing. Like social media is a like marketing trend as
yeah.
well.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Like everything. I mean, like everything, not just the social media. Um, like if you follow a trend like of creation, it's a double-edged sword as well. Like some people will be like, oh, so mass appealing and stuff. Some people will be like, oh, it's easy to use. So it's just like everything.
Yeah.
Is there any other like things you want to like talk about the industry?
Industry. I know you want to talk a bit about kind of the clone culture
Oh
in
yeah,
Australia or in
yeah,
general.
mm.
Did you want to touch on that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there is a big trend at the moment in the world and as well as Australia
Australia.
specifically about clone and duping culture.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not here to knock on anyone's business. For me personally, it's not something I am for,
Mm,
and that's out of artistic principle.
mm,
You know, I could never do that as an artist. I would not take someone else's work and say, you know what, I've done it better, buy this one instead.
yeah.
But there's kind of two things that to be said here. As much as something is artistic and the way brands are selling their products, like the big brands, they're saying it's so expensive, so exotic, it's worth so much, but then why is it so easily replicated? So there's kind of two things going on.
Yeah.
And there's also this weird it's difficult to place the artistic value for perfume because it's probably the most misunderstood art form.
Yeah.
It's probably the least valuable sense as well, human sense. When you compare it to like hearing or vision or taste
That's
or
true.
touch, sense um, or sense rather is just one of the lower priorities when it comes to human biology. So I think that kind of plays into it as well. in a way. So yeah, it's hard to place artistic value on something that we don't really understand. But when we buy a painting, we're not paying for how much it costs the painter to buy the paint and the materials. We're paying them for their artwork, their
Creativity.
creative vision, and when you pay a chef for a meal, you're not paying for the raw ingredients. You're paying for their service, for their experience, and all those years it took to create and to get them to the place where they are. So it's just a strange kind of dichotomy, I think. I can see why it's happening. Like, the commercial market is, I don't think they're being very honest to the consumers. So that's why these things are happening. But at the same time, the artist in me, I couldn't, out of principle.
I think it's like quite a big trend, like having clones. I think it's not just Australia. I mean, like Australia is crazy. Like the past 2 years maybe, there's like 4 or 5 brands like coming up for clones only. And then at that time period, everyone is like, oh, is this like better than the original? Is this like having like all comes to like longevity, performance. Is the performance better on the clones? Can those clones brand make it better instead of like wearing the original? I'm not a big clone guy. Like I don't use clone at all. But when people talk about like if a clone have like even better performance and longevity, I will be like I will be down to try, but I wouldn't be like using them all the time, because I think that even if they are clone, they won't be 100% like same with the original like smell as well. Yeah. So, and also like like most of the time, like brands like big brands like LV or like other like Amouage brands, they have their own like captive material from those
Correct.
like aromachemical like companies like Givaudan or like Firmenich. They just can't, like clone brands just can't replicate those scents. So I do think like the original scents will always be, I won't say be my favorite, because like they are the only one. They have that scent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I think about like clone brands and like the whole trend of like clone as well.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's more about intention. So
Yeah,
intention always comes first, and then
yeah,
all those other parameters are, secondary for me. It's always the
yeah.
artistic intention.
Yeah, I
But
mean like from your perspective, it's more like as a artist, as a creativity perspective. I really understand that part as well, because like if my like if my artwork, I know artwork is hard to clone. What the heck? But if my like art is cloned by others, I will be angry as well. Like
yeah,
it's just like that kind of like like dilemma to how
yeah,
you judge about like creativity and stuff. But yeah, keep going
yeah.
from
So,
what you
I
said.
was going to say, when you mentioned captives, it's an interesting topic at the moment as well,
Yeah,
because I'm seeing a lot of brands are, when the actual note breakdown, they're listing all the captives they're using, which I think is really strange, because it doesn't mean anything to the audience.
yeah,
It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm a
they can't
perfumer,
try
and
at all.
I can't buy it. So
Yeah, I
for
think
those who don't
like
know what a captive is a molecule that is produced by these big fragrance companies, but it's proprietary, and meaning that they don't sell it to the public. They've created it, and only they can use it, and they've licensed it, and they've copyrighted it.
yeah, yeah. I think one of the big one is the Ekigala wood.
Yes.
That thing is everywhere. Like from it's so I'll explain a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not too into these things. So Ekigala wood is a captive material from Givaudan, and all those Givaudan perfumer or like brands working with Givaudan can use that kind of material for their perfume. So um if like if the audience know who Quentin Beach is, he's like a really like popular rising star right now. he created like a few perfume for Amouage. I think the Purpose 50 and the Gardens 46, and the new like Decision, if I'm not wrong, the name, either Existent or Decision. So these two perfume all dries down the same almost. So I assume it's from the captive material smell, because I really enjoy that smell as well. And I guess like the reason why they talk about all this time about like Akigala wood in these perfume is because like they want to try to sell it for like perfumer after they release to the public.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more like a marketing strategy for them as well.
Yeah, potentially. I haven't thought about it that way, but yeah, it's true. A lot of captives do end up on the market eventually because they only copyright things for a certain number of years, and then they release it to
Yeah.
the public. But yeah, no, that's a really interesting topic. I haven't thought of that yet, but yeah, that's
I
probably
was
true.
like, every time I smell this thing, like Jordi Fernandez as well is also
Yeah.
from Givaudan. They both like keeps on using this Akigala wood in like almost every of their creation. And I was like, what's their intention? Is they like are they like trying to like put every of these material into every of their creation, and then the audience will be like, oh, it's so good, it's so smooth, it's so warm. I love this kind of perfume. And then after they release it, every perfumer will be like, oh, the audience love these, and then I will put like a lot of
Yeah.
these Akigala wood into their creation as well, and then it will just cause like everything smells the same.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
interesting material. I can't tell you what it personally smells like because I haven't smelt it on its own.
yeah,
But you know, like you, we can assume what it smells like from seeing all the fragrances have it, and
yeah,
you know, you can kind of conceptualize it. It's a product of patchouli. They kind of,
yeah.
I'm not sure what they do, but it kind of
I
goes
think they
through.
reinvented like the patchouli residue into the
Yeah,
Akigala wood,
they
but
do some
I
kind of
didn't really delve into it.
yeah, it's some kind of synthesis with patchouli, and it creates this new compound called akigala wood. And to my nose, it actually doesn't really smell like patchouli to me. It smells more like patchouli alcohol, which is the raw essence of patchouli, but also very sherbety and almost like strawberry-like, if you know what I mean, and very creamy.
It's creamy is definitely
Yeah,
one of it. I would say it's really like warm musky, like it's
Mm.
velvety. I would say like
Yeah,
it's musky, definitely.
yeah, and really,
But
really radiant material.
yeah, and it lasts forever.
Correct. Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's very
Like
tenacious.
another example is the new, not maybe not the newest, but the BDK one, the Impadia.
Yeah, the Impadia.
Yeah, that one is like it's it's almost exactly the same, like other than the top notes.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting to see how like the brands like use these captive material to make it everywhere.
Yeah, and it's the same thing that it goes back into the conversation of,
Yeah,
playing it safe, using what sells,
mass appealing.
correct.
Yeah. Another thing I see as a trend, I don't know if you have noticed, is the like longevity we've talked about. Like um what I tried recently for all those like like marketed as masculine men's perfume, they all
Mhm.
dry down the same.
Yeah,
So I'm just more like navigate towards women perfume now, like women perfume. I don't really care, because like they just don't use those like longevity materials. Would you like to like talk more about like those aroma chemicals just for longevity?
yeah. So it's a lot of these super ambers that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
They're very high impact, very voluminous materials, and you'll see it in a lot of more so niche fragrances, but even in designer fragrances too. Like I can definitely smell them in the YSL designer series.
yeah,
Um, Arabian's Tonka,
yeah,
big super ambers. Even like brands like Amouage are using it as well, but
yeah.
I find they're using it a bit more tactfully. Like it's very in very unique contrast, especially like Enclave. But yeah,
I didn't really notice them in Amwash though. Like I didn't. It's covered really well, I would say.
Mm. Yeah, no, yeah, not really. Only it's like so. It's I think when it's used selectively, it can be really beautiful. But yeah, I think the over presence of it just it makes a perfume feel really flat, in my opinion. Yeah, and
That's
you
true.
lose a lot of nuance in the top notes, and perfume should be all about the progression. I think the top notes are as equally as important as the heart and the base.
That's true. I totally agree. And also like using those material is like removing a part of those perfume as well because like all the base smell the same now. You only can enjoy the top and the
Yeah.
middle part.
So I find it makes a fragrance very gray. Like it loses a lot of color as soon as you start using super ambers.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But that's what the market is like navigating towards now. So
Yeah,
it's
unfortunately.
a like trend and we can't really like get rid of it anymore. Yeah, so any other like fragrance culturalized stuff you have noticed among like Australia?
Australia. Well, I think Australia is probably one of the most influenced countries when it comes to social media because as a country, it hasn't had centuries to develop perfume culture. Like in Europe, like they've been using perfumes for a long time. It's been integrated into like everyday life. And in Asia, there's lots of sensibility about using perfumes that are very light and
Yeah,
very just keeping it to yourself
yeah.
and being very considerate of other people.
Skin
Whereas,
scent.
correct, yeah. So Australia doesn't really have that. So it's just a lot of influence now from social media. And it's only happened in, I'd say, the last 5 years where it's kind of blown up.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, or last 2 years more so, but the last 5 years, I think perfume has kind of blown up a bit more in Australia.
Mm,
Yeah, I still think people are still figuring it out and they're not sure what they like. They're just kind of following things at the moment. But yeah, I
yeah,
think
that's true.
over time, I think it Australian culture will reveal itself, or what the perfume culture rather. So it's too early to tell.
It's still young. It's still young.
Yeah, correct.
And I do see that trend because like whenever I'm in those like fragrance group, right? So whenever one people talk about a perfume, hype it up. Any other tried it, they loved it, they hype it up as well. The whole group talks about it,
Yeah,
which is really really funny because like in Hong Kong, I would say like most of the fragrance enthusiasts in Hong Kong is already like really mature. Of course, there's
yeah,
still like really beginners and like really young people. But like those mature perfume lovers, they have their own idea and like they will debate among
yeah,
a like certain topic, like oh I love this scent and why they don't love it, in another like perspective, which
yeah,
I absolutely enjoy those kind of like debates as well because like you really know what you are chasing for after you have
yeah,
discussed with others about those things. But like in Australia, I don't think that's quite common. Everyone just like it's nice, buy it, and then they
yeah,
after a while they're like it's not for me, declutter.
yeah,
It's just a common thing to notice.
yeah. So yeah, I think we're easily persuaded by what's happening and the trends that are being sold to us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So let's move on to the last question of the day then. So, what will you predict to be a trend or like possible growth of like a particular like fragrance style in 2026?
It's a tough question because
I know.
every year, working in perfumery for such a long time as well, like I
Yeah,
think I always know the answer and it always surprises me. So, you really can't tell. The one thing
yeah,
I would really love and hope for is, and I've been kind of, you know, not to say this for my own benefit, but I think artisanal perfumery and independent perfumery is on the rise
yeah,
because, the longer people spend time in niche perfumery, I think, especially in the state of the market right now, the quicker they start to realize that it's becoming a bit redundant. So, and like you said, like, the next venture is like artisan or kind of ultra niche perfumery.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would really hope for, and be good for me as well. But I'm not saying that for myself. I think that's something that genuinely might happen soon. So the rise of artisan perfumery. In terms of what might be popular, I couldn't tell you because every year I've been wrong. Last passion would be in because we saw it in Queen of Silk, we saw it in Oud Maracuja, but it didn't really make a presence. Every year I think cherry and vanilla is over. It keeps coming back, and I'm like, please no more. But it keeps coming back. So it's you can never tell.
True.
I think Acapella would be here to stay for a while though.
Yeah, I do agree. And every time like I saw any other like podcast like reviewed like chatting with other like influencers or like perfumer, they would be like, oh, come on, and like sweet stuff. I mean, like it's just there forever. It just never leave like the whole thing. But I think that's one of the interesting part of like perfumery as well. Like you never can guess what's coming up next. It could be something really interesting in Gomon like side, and also like in terms of like perfumery, like every year there's so many like synthetic material coming out as well.
Correct.
Which there's like so like less amount of people talking about this kind of topic, but there's a lot of like synthetic coming out every year. So it's a really interesting topic to like really delve into, like how they're gonna change like the trend, or like how they're gonna change the perfumery style. To be honest, this year I don't think there's much surprising things going on.
No, and the thing with trends is sometimes it takes a while for trends to catch on. I think a good example is like Angel from Thierry Mugler, which is made by Olivier Cresp. And when that fragrance came out, it probably took about 3 years before it actually really kicked off in the market, and everyone started falling in love. And then everyone started doing Gourmand florals. So,
Gourmand.
Some things take years, so it's just hard to tell.
That's true. I want to add an additional question. Do you have any like favorite like release this year, other than your release?
I can't say my own, right?
That's true.
I haven't been fragrance shopping much this year, to be honest.
I know.
I can tell you recent ones. I'm not sure about this year though.
Yeah, that's fine.
I really loved Vixie from Trudon, which I think maybe was last year or a year and a half ago.
Is it the red one?
No, it's from their Clear collection. It's like a very fresh floral sandalwood.
Oh, okay.
I really love.
Maybe I'll show it.
Yes, please.
Because have you tried the newest, like the red ones?
I have. I think it's again. I think they're a bit trendy for what the House of Trudon is about. And I'll leave it at that.
This one is the one you talk about, the Fixie. It's a really fresh one, but with cardamom. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I haven't tried this one before. I mean, like every time I went past like Trudon, I would be like, I've tried most of the stuff, but I actually like forgot them usually.
Actually, some of the recent ones I bought, actually, I would say actually my last 4 or 5 purchases have been Australian perfumes.
Really?
So let me take a moment to highlight some Australian perfumes, really.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
There's been Heart and Heady, which we saw at the Geelong Fragrance Festival. I purchased a bottle of House of Heart. So that's a really beautiful fragrance. With very woody materials, with a bit of cardamom as well. I think that's really beautiful. And
I love it as well.
Yeah. I think a good trend I would love to happen as well is like the rise of Australian perfumery. So, let's hope that happens. Another thing I really enjoyed recently and I purchased as well was Gretel from Criminal Elements, which is kind of like Yeah, Gretel. I forget the name. Which is kind of like a gingerbread kind of fragrance. I also recently purchased one from Anka Kush, which is kind of Australian Turkish. It's the Rose Bandit, Ismail Effendi. Really beautiful herbal rose. Yes.
This is another one.
Is that the Embers one?
Yeah, this amber. Yeah. This
Yeah.
one is my favorite.
Yeah.
But
beautiful.
yeah, you keep going.
Yeah, and my other recent purchase was probably from Hello Stranger, the Hey Honey.
Yeah. Hello Stranger is it's on the top. I can't reach it. Yeah, but yeah, those perfume house is superb. They are so good. Like to be honest, like when you say they are like small brands, from like what a perfume lover's perspective, that you usually don't expect to be that complex or like that well crafted or like well balanced. But these brands are like I would say it's really, really good. And I think that a few of them are actually in Taiwan as well. I think Enga Kush is in Taiwan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I think Criminal Element is also in either Taiwan or mainland China as well. So they're actually like selling them in some like niche stores.
Yeah,
But yeah, like people from Hong Kong, like audience from Hong Kong in this episode, you can go like if you ever go to Taiwan, you can try them as well. Or just come to us, like come to us and try all of them. But yeah, they are really good brand. I think that this is the one I really enjoy from Enga Kush. This is called December. This one is like love at first sniff, I would say. It's really good, like smoky, warm, but like cotton candy, like a fluffiness in there. Very beautiful. And I think they got a like award for this one as well, if I'm not wrong.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. But yeah, this one is but this one is really nice. Everyone have a go if you ever come across it. Of course, like also like other brands called I think the Chasing Scents as well. It's everywhere
I saw they were in Taiwan recently as well.
Yeah, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, in mainland as well. They're everywhere. Because the perfumer is from Hong Kong as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but they are based in Sydney. So
Yes.
yeah, it's interesting. Like every other small Australian brand is really interesting as well. Everyone should try them.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential out there, and I think we kind of get stuck into this idea that all good perfumery comes out of France or Italy or the Middle East, but there's a lot to offer here in Australia. You just got to go find it.
Yeah, that's true. And also like if there are some famous brand like coming out, they are most likely like big corporation and they are just like doing mass appealing stuff anyway. So why not try some like these artisanal brands and have some fun in like creativity wise? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So any other prediction?
Predictions? Oh, I don't know. There is one trend I'm seeing recently in the GCMSs I've seen. It's the kind of the Oud Maracuja, the Ombre Nomad Accord. So I think it's like a trifecta of cashmere and brosonite and raspberry ketone. So I'm curious to see if that keeps happening in the next few years. It'll be like the new Baccarat Rouge, I guess, because that DNA starts popping up everywhere. So it's like it's a super amber, like a fruity, earthy super amber. But again, it's really radiant. It's really powerful and
strong.
Yeah, really overwhelming.
Is it an Oud for Greatness as well?
Oud for Greatness is based on the Baccarat Rouge Accord.
Right. So this kind of like Oud Maracuja sense, other than like Ombre Nomad and Oud Maracuja, what else have you seen similar to those type of scents?
I've seen cashmere used a lot in high doses. So like in Town and Country, for example.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's
really interesting.
Yeah, it's a really fun and kind of odd material. Very textural as well. Like it's very peppery and high impact and musky and ambery. So it's a great material. But yeah, it's just, it had its moment kind of, maybe in the early 2000s, and now it's kind of making a reappearance.
I think like one of the main one, because Troy also do those like chemical posts as well. I always repost if like anyone who have been like following my Instagram, I'll repost his post in the story and also like stuff. So he will talk about one chemical and then like have some like examples of perfume as well. I think once you talk this one like
The
full of
the
cashmere.
one too.
Is it? I think you have like discussed this chemical with me before. Like it's like velvety and type of like warm stuff. I didn't have the chance to try it on its own. I only tried like limited, like 50 or like 60. Just because my friend lends me the kit.
Yeah.
So I have the chance. But any other like special ones, I haven't really have the chance. But hopefully next year I will, because I'm like moving and I will have my own like table just for like raw material. Hopefully I will do those. But yeah, it's really interesting to have a chat with you about all these topics today. Any other things you want to like talk about before we leave?
No, I think we've covered a lot, and we can keep talking all day, but I think we've done very well tonight.
Yeah, I love like I enjoy like all these topic like discussion with you as well. It's really fun to talk about all these like chemicals, trends, marketing, especially now you have your own brands as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully I will have you next time again, like talk about some more like technical stuff, like more chemical stuff. Because like I will be really thrilled and happy to talk about those as well. Especially have you like explaining all those to me and to the audience, of course.
Yeah, this will be my
pleasure. Thank you for you today for coming to my live podcast. It's really my honor to have you. Really happy to have a chat with you. So yeah, hope you have a great night, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thanks everyone. I will do a conclusion again in Cantonese, so feel free to. I'll put you back to the backstage and feel free to leave.
Right,
it's like school time. What the heck? Okay, see you. Thanks.
Bye.
Alright，咁好多謝大家今日嚟到今日呢個 EP 第四集嘅 live podcast 啊，咁都好多謝有阿 Troy 同我哋講解佢個 brand 啦，都講解下唔同我哋澳洲而家有嘅唔同香水嘅可能文化啊，或者可能唔同嘅 trend 啦，咁一個非常之有趣嘅一集啦。我希望大家如果中意嘅話就 like、share 同埋 subscribe 啦。講多次係英文講多次先。If anyone loves this episode, please like, share and subscribe and comments on like who you want me to find for this podcast in the future, to have a discussion on whatever topic you are interested in. 係啦，咁如果有啲咩唔同意見嘅話，就喺樓下 comment 啦。咁都晏啦，大家早啲休息 ，OK？ 咁大家早唞。我哋下一集，下個禮拜六嚟緊，下個禮拜六都係有外國人上嚟，一個外國嘅姐姐上嚟同我哋 discuss 嘅，咁敬請期待啦，大家好，早唞，再見大家，下一集見，拜拜。